Hey ninjas, how you doing? Hopefully you've seen me in the group. My name is Paul Turner, and I never know which way around it is, but I've got John Docherty on. So let me just tell you where we're at, guys. So I can't tell you how great it is to be part of the Ninja team. Now, people sometimes say, "Oh, it's your group, Paul, and you set it up." Yeah, I set the group up like over 3 years ago, but it's not about me anymore. And this is what I always wanted, right? I haven't got an ego. I'm quite happy for other people to kind of take the load. And the vision was always that we're all helping each other, right? And we are now at a point where that is working brilliantly. So to everybody that's watching this, if you're brand new, I'm telling you guys, you are in the right place. Now, a prime example of what I'm talking about is John here. So John has gone and studied a strategy from a guy called Oren Wright. He's one of the Go Live educators on IM Academy. Fantastic stuff. John, how many hours would you say you've watched of his stuff?
I've been watching Oren and listening in and sort of putting into practice what he sort of teaches for well over a year now.
Right.
And I watch him religiously 3 times a week. And what I do from there, I also take notes on his sessions. And
Yeah.
I'll document them notes. I'll put a date next to them. I'll highlight them. And then if there's something I want to go back to, I've got my notes. And then I can go to the video archive footage, which is what I highly recommend for people to do. So then you've got your notes, and then you've got the archive footage. Watch through the golden nuggets again to refresh your memory with things.
Perfect.
Right, that's my top tip.
Now you're watching this, and you just want to learn the strategy and make money. Am I right? You don't want to go and spend a year watching Oren Wright. So the advantage of being in the group is John has done that. And then John brought that to the group. And then as a group, we've stress tested this strategy now. We've put it together with the harmonic scanner, which isn't what Oren Wright teaches. With Oren Wright, you have to use naked charts and kind of try and identify swing high, swing lows. But we know from another educator that actually the scanner gives you the swing high, swing low. So we can use that. And then me and John have been backwards and forwards with this to the point now where we're happy that we've got something that we can bring to you that will work. It's difficult to say, but I would say what? 85, 90% of the time, yeah, this will work, okay? Yeah. And then if you want to go and you want to be, and again, this is the advantage of being in IM Academy, if you want to go and you want to be like John and you really want to master it and become super duper at it, then you've got Oren Wright in IM Academy. So I just kind of wanted to set that up, that you're in the right place. It's all members helping each other. Somebody who has spent hours, looking at something, brings it into the group, and then as a group, we simplify it. So whether you're new, you're just learning the strategy for the first time, we just kind of got it to the point where you don't necessarily need to understand it all, but you can profit from it. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to share with you what another one of our awesome members, Helen, has put together. She's put together like the checklist. So I'm just going to run through that very, very quickly with you. And guys, bear in mind, we're recording this today. We might tweet something tomorrow because again, there's over 400 members in the group now. Somebody might chip in and say, Paul, I've noticed that this always happens. We might change things. So don't get caught up if the version you're looking at is maybe slightly different, and any changes that we make to it will be on this. But this training, we're going to try and keep it fairly short because it's pretty simple. But this training is going to give you everything you need to know. And if we change one of the fib levels, you'll know how to change it yourself, for example, in the future. We'll update it eventually. But I just want you to bear in mind, don't get too fixed if something is a little changed, because with 400 people testing it, somebody else came to me today with something that was a little idea for it that I don't think we're going to include, but there's always stuff coming. So that makes sense. But this strategy, John, while I'm pulling this up, do you want to tell people how successful this has been for you, this strategy?
This strategy in itself has been massively successful for me. And I know we've spoke a little bit about TP levels and things like that, but we'll work through that as we go further on setting this up. Like I say, I've been doing this or learning from Oren for the best part of a year and a bit now. And he brought us into his student area on the Go Live section, which I do recommend everybody go and see. For a number of months now, to incorporate it with what he does for IM Academy, which is the levels, and it sort of boosts your success rate using the head and shoulder patterns and things like that with these levels. So again, it was just it's a side strategy to his bigger strategy, if you know what I mean, but incorporating it with other sort of ways of trading like harmonics and things like that, it just puts everything onto steroids, to be fair, and it enhances your win rate, to be honest. because everything will sort of move in quarters with those levels, and there is power in the movements in those.
And if you didn't know, John actually calls trades for our group, and John's got about an 86, 87% win rate. And John actually gives us his trades, which is really cool of him. So another awesome resource. So anyway, I'm just gonna, guys, you can read if you're here. I take it you can read. So I'm not gonna read it all out to you because that would be very boring, but I'll run through this very quickly, then we're gonna hand the screen over to John, and John's gonna actually mark up some examples, and we'll look at some for you, show you how to draw it up, how to set the fibs. We'll look through some. So basically we're using the harmonic scanner, and the reason we're doing that is the scan should identify with a higher degree of probability than certainly a new person looking at a naked chart, to be able to identify the swing high, the swing low, because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for where the price is high and going to reverse basically and go the other way, or go low and then come back up. That's what the scanner does. Now, a human can't know because the price will do what it wants to do, and a scanner can't know because it's just looking at algorithms. Okay, so the scanner isn't always right, but if the scanner isn't right, then you won't be right either as a human. So it's still a probability thing, but the scanner has a high probability, talking 89% of the trend reversing. Okay, so it is good to do. So we use the scanner. Okay, again, let the tools do the heavy lifting, guys. You know, that's what you pay IM Academy for. So recommend use Traders Way just because they seem to give more scans, but there's different brokers, as you'll see in a minute. They all work, it's just slightly different data feeds. Other scans work 80 pips, right? C to D. Actually, I'm going to get Helen to change that because we found 50 works fine. Okay, so I'll get Helen to change that. Let me just make a note. All right, but you can, guys, that was from another strategy that we used to do, but 50 pips still works fine. I can tell you for a fact, 50, the gap C to D still works fine, 50 pips. Then we're just going to look for a 5 candle formation, 2 to the left, 2 to the right of the D. So you've got the D candle, as you'll see, so you've got 5 candles. Okay, and then we're going to draw our Fibonacci. Now, you don't need to understand what Fibonacci is. All they are, they're ratios that occur naturally in nature. That's all they are. Okay, it occurs in, like, you know, the length of your ears compared to your nose. There's a Fibonacci ratio, I think, for that. A snail shell. If you cut a snail shell in half and you look, the ratio of the spirals inside are all Fibonacci levels. Okay, so it happens a lot in nature, and it happens on the charts as well, which is cool. And then we're going to wait for some candles to break below a certain line, as you see. You can put a buy or sell limit on. So one of the great things about this is it's pending orders. You don't have to be in front of the chart all the time, and this is why this is proven very popular with a lot of our members. You do your analysis, it takes minutes, as you'll see. You set your sell limit or buy limit, stop loss in case it goes wrong. You take profit where you want to get out and make some money. And we've got the exit manager in our group. If you haven't seen that, go to unit 7. It is currently. We've got the exit manager, which can help manage your trades. So we've got some advice on stop loss and take profit. We're going to tweak that slightly, and this is what it looks like. There's a couple of examples here. Helen's chosen these colors, guys, and that's what some people do. Some people do different. Don't worry about the colors. You can set the colors to whatever you like. Right? So you've got your stop loss, your entry, the breakout line where you need the price to break, and then we've got some guidance on take profit there. The colors can be anything you like, and Helen's actually put all the things you need to change on a handy dandy little checklist. But you're going to see John do it for real now.
Yeah. And
so
can
John,
I just say thank you for Helen for drawing up this PDF as well.
Everybody helps each other in this group. It's amazing.
Strengthen the numbers and what we do.
I'll let you have the screen, John.
Right, let's have a look. Right, share screen.
And just take us through it like baby steps, start to finish.
Right, so we mentioned on that little checklist about traders way. So what we'll do is we'll go to traders way first of all. Now on the right hand side, guys, obviously you'll see on here you've got your 15, 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily. Just underneath that you've got your broker. Okay, so you just click on there, and then we're going to select traders way.
So John, actually, just something that comes to mind. Which scans are the most successful?
Me personally, because of my trading lifestyle, I've always used a 1 hour, 4 hour, and sometimes a daily. A lot of people, when we've back tested, stress tested this, everyone has gone on about the 1 hour. 1 hour sort
So
of.
let's start with the 1 hour. So there you go, guys. So if you only need one trade a day to get your account growth, start with a 1 hour,
Yeah.
okay?
And the reason we will start with the 1 hour is simply because it gives you, if you're new to learning this, it's just going to give you that extra time to sort of analyze and get the setup right, to be fair. 15 minutes, maybe it's, once you get this sort of dialed and locked in, you can move to the 15-minute charts.
Well, the other thing is the lower time frames are more volatile as well. So,
yeah.
you know, you're safer the higher time frame you go, in theory.
Right. So what I've done is I'm just going to click the very first one underneath the Traders Wear icon, which is the Great British Pound USD. And this is a crab pattern. And let's just have a look at the measuring tool. That's going to give us around 112 pips of movement on there. Very volatile, the GBP pairs, to be fair. And so we'll sort of analyze this and see where we can draw up the fibs, okay? So if you can look on the left-hand side where my arrow is here, I'm hovering over the pitchfork icon. This is your instrumental tool. From there, there's a little arrow button next to that. Click on that, and this opens up the subcategory. Scroll down till you see fib retracement. Click the icon there. Then from there, you are looking for the D point, which is round out this area here. And you are going to look for the two outer perimeter candles, okay, to the left and to the right. And whichever one is furthest away, we are going to draw to 50% of the body of that particular candle. So if we look here, we can see that this one to the left, we've got 1, 2, and the crosshair. We can certainly see the one on the right-hand side to the two candles to the right is going to be the one we draw to.
So the two candles to the right are furthest away from the from the D point. It's wick to body, right? So we're going from the wick on the D point, okay?
So what you could do, just to sort of put this in layman's terms to make it that little bit easier, you could select the horizontal rear and select the area of the wick on the D point, okay? And we'll just make that a bonny pink and make it a little bit thicker. So you're going to be drawn from here to around about the halfway point, which is going to be around about to that point there, guys.
What if I don't want to do that by eye, John? How could I make sure I'm exactly 50%?
If you want to make sure you're exactly 50%, you could go onto your fib retracement and you could go onto that there, but it's going to be really tight, to be fair, Paul.
Yeah, you have to zoom in. You could lose the RSI. We're having a joke about
that. Right, let's have a look.
You don't need that RSI at the bottom for this strategy.
We don't need that one, do we, David? Right, so what we've got, and I'll just get rid of this, we'll start that again. You can go on your fib retracement and you do the body to the body, okay? From there, guys, you go to the cog or the gear icon, click settings, just get rid of all of the noise and leave the 0.5. That's your halfway point. Okay, so you can do that. On here, you've got levels line. We'll just make that little bit thicker. And we'll make this, we'll make this black. Click OK.
You want to extend line as well,
we'll have to extend the line. Just make sure I've got that body to body. And then from there, that's your halfway point. Then we can put that bang on the money. And there we are, guys. And I would advise you
guys, me and John just do it by sight. We you know, we just go and you know, you get used to it. But if you're not sure, if you're new, you might want to do that just to give you the confidence that you're doing it right.
So the next step, once you've got the D point confirmed and the halfway of the body of the second candle to the right confirmed, you can then go onto your fibs. And again, you just draw from the wick of that D point. Is this drawn out or? Yeah, we are. Yeah. To the halfway point, which is right there. Now, as you can see from there, we've still got the 50%. Don't worry about that. We just click on the diagonal lines on here. I'll get this. And then that's going to, we'll get this right. that right on the line. There we are. So what you've got there, you've drawn from the D point of the wick up to the halfway point of the body of the second candle to the right. From there, you're just going to put in the following parameters, or the following. Can you get that on? Get the right one, John. Does help. There we are. Right. So this brings up the Fibonacci levels again. Okay. So what we'll do is, I've got the 0 line, which is going to be the breakout level. Okay. Again, you can choose whichever color you want. I generally just go for black. The next level down is your 0.25. This is the retesting area. I normally have this as orange, but again, you could just select whichever area you want.
So this is your entry line, in other words. On all the other tools, they call it like an entry. So this is going to be your entry where you enter the trade.
Yes. And then the last one we could put on there at the moment is the 1. This here is going to be the D point to the wick. Okay, guys? So
and
at the moment,
do you want to make that one red?
We can do, yeah. We will.
Because that is your stop loss.
That will be our stop loss, yeah.
In theory, the price isn't going to go lower than that.
And again, what we do to be very visual, I see this on many of my lives, just to be very visual, make sure you've got your lines highlighted, okay? Make it a little bit strengthened and bold. From there, you need to go to these tick boxes. You need to tick the following. You need extended. And you need, just underneath here, you need to have the labels to the right and then to the top. From here, you've got a background noise, okay? Some people like a little bit of coloration. Some people like them completely off. I like to have a little bit of highlight on there just so I can see when something's come into that zone, okay? Again, it's personal preference, to be honest. And that is the basic. I'll not put the TP level on this just yet because we'll just talk about the fib levels, what we have at the moment. From there, guys, you have the 0, which you have the black. That's your breakout area. We have the entry, which is the 0.25. Again, color preference is just down to yourself. And then we have the 1 area, which is going to be the stop loss. Extended lines ticked. Levels lines knocked up a notch, so you've got that visual. And then your background, it's down to yourself if you want a little bit of highlight color for to help you to identify zones. From there, you can just click OK. And that's what the finishing touch will look like. Okay, and then if you need to, you can get rid of that previous line that you've done. And then that's the basic setup from there.
So, John, do you just want to, we're going to add a line in for take profit. We're going to talk about take profit, but do you want to put the minus 0.75 line in so people can kind of see it?
If you want to go back onto your fibs, again, you just highlight this dotted grey line anywhere within that zone. Go to your gears. From there, you just select an area and you want minus, that's a minus 0.75. And then obviously possibly have this to a green color and then just OK. Now that would be your sort of take profit area that we would be looking for. From there, this area here between the breakout and the TP level is just a mirrored image from the entry to the stop loss. So it's a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, as we've spoken on previous lives. With regards to that there, you're looking at, because GBP, they're very volatile, right about what, 35 pips there. Again, you're looking at, let's have a look, the breakout. Get this right. I hate this.
Yeah, I know, it stays on, doesn't it? You can always put this onto trading view as well, guys, because it's easy to spot where your deep.
You've got about 40 odd pips to there, 45, 46 pips from the entry up to the TP level there. Okay. So
now is it the right time to talk about take profit?
At this time, we're between a rock and a hard place with our take profit areas. Again, as we do on any sort of trading, as soon as you're happy with any sort of profits, lock them in. You can always sort of move the stop loss to break even, which again, Paul's mentioned the exit manager on unit 7, I do believe, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, it is. Well, it might change in the future, you know, but yeah, unit 7.
It's a very powerful tool, that, to be fair. So I would highly recommend using that to lock in some profits.
Well, what we were talking about, guys, is, I mean, if you draw 25 pips up from the entry line,
Yeah.
the original strategy was 25 pips.
Yes.
And what we find is that most of them go way beyond that, right? But you can see there's 25 pips, and you can see it lines up with one of the candles over to the, look, I mean, that lines up perfectly. If you go left, John, see that red candle?
I'll draw this here, and then let's just get this correct.
So there's 25.
I'll put it there. It's roundabout on there. There we are.
So if you go all the way over to the left, look, that lines up, I think, pretty much perfectly with the red candle. One, two, three, 4, 5 from the D. Yeah, look.
It's respecting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, massively it's respected that. And if we go further left again, if you watch the crosshair, just pair it up with that pink line.
Yeah.
It's even further to the left. And these are on a 1 hour candles, guys. You can just see the amount that it's respecting on this area here. If you just watch the right where that crosshair goes to the pink line and them levels there. So powerful stuff.
So we're going to suggest, and we're going to change the guide. 25 pips is where you move your stop loss maybe, and you lock in profit. So you move your stop loss up, but that's sort of risk management stuff. That can come separately. But we're going to suggest 25 pips is where you move your stop loss or lock in some profit. Or use the exit manager, but 25 pips is going to be your target. At the minute, that seems to be the absolute safest way. But the vast majority will go to that green line.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Should we take a look at another pair?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's just work through some pairs and just show lots of examples.
So we'll work down in order there. So we've got the Euro USD. I think was the news on the Euro today, was it, Paul?
There was, yeah. I mean, that looks a bit. I mean, would you trade that?
No.
Why not?
If there was news, first of all, straight away, I wouldn't get involved with it, to be fair. We'll just draw it up and we'll have a look, to be fair. So we go again from that D point. And then this tool, it's got a...
The reason why this is a bit clunky, guys, like this, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
The scanner is constantly looking for the patterns and redrawing. So it's doing its job. It's doing what it should do, okay? So don't, it's not a fault with the scanner. It's because you're trying to draw as it's always.
Or spending an extra 10 or 15 seconds drawing it up and grabbing the pips that you can grab with a strategy.
Yeah.
It's well worth the time.
You will get stressed with it because we all do. It's not broken, right? It's doing what it's meant to do.
So yeah, what we've done is this is obviously 2 candles to the left is higher, more certainly than the right. Halfway point, it hasn't even broke the entry area to even sort of test it. So again, we would move straight on with that, to be fair. And over time, what you'll find, guys, is you'll end up being able to look at it with the naked eye and thinking, nah, and then you'll be able to move straight on to the next. Comes with time, comes with practice. Again, this one, field scan, simply for the reason it's surpassed the D point.
And guys, let me just say as well, we're doing this is the day after unprecedented stuff in the market, coronavirus, stuff to do with oil, and there were some massive gaps in the market. We've had a couple of turbulent weeks. Look at that spike there, look, guys.
You just need to look at that. I mean, look, that in itself.
How many pips is that?
That in itself, from the body of that down to the bottom wick, 200 odd pips. 256 pips. It was.
Inside an hour.
Yeah, crazy.
So, we are going to find some, on the 1 hours, we are going to find some erratic like that. That's not normal.
And then we've got another one there. And again, here we go. We can have a look at this, I suppose.
This looks more tasty. Right, so this might be a good one to look at if it triggered.
Right, so what we've got, guys, this is the odd NZD. It is a shark, and as we always see, a shark's bite. However, we've got 2 candles to the left. So we've got 1, 2, got to here. And then obviously we would certainly go to that area there because the ones to the right are a little bit higher than what the actual body is of the standing candle. And again, we've got this. Let's have a look. 2 candles to the right. There we are. To the left, sorry. There we go. And if we zoom in, this handy little tool for anybody who wants a little bit of a tip, you've got a magnifying glass. Be very visual with everything you do, and that's going to help you sort of zone in on what you need to do. So there we are. Right.
So what are we looking for then, John? Did this one work?
So what we are looking for, and let's just get my little arrow on here. So what we've got, you've got your, let's do it again. So I'll get this arrow on, then people will be able to follow exactly where I'm going. So here is obviously the area that we need to retest, this orange line, okay? You needed a breakout of the black line. This here, this red candle here, is your pivot area. This is your high, okay, from the wick down to the body here. So we had a breakout of the next candle, which is just barely some wax over that. Again, you could get in on this, or you could wait for another closer candle, but this would have been a successful way to get in.
So just to clarify for people, the line needs to, we need to break that black line, but after the D point. If the D point has broken it, that doesn't count.
Yeah, so that's magnified in a bit more.
Yeah. So any candle to the right of the D has to break, and it has to be a candle close.
Has to be a candle close.
The body of the candle has to close beneath that black line.
So there's barely 2 pips closed underneath, but still a close.
It's still done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a close. It's been confirmed. And then from there, what you've got is you then get in on a pending order, a sell limit, which has been activated here. Yes, you've had some drawdown. And many of these sort of trades don't generally give you much drawdown, because this order NZD, this has been a little bit funny with the news recently. There has been some drawdown on this. If we just measure that off, and it was around about from there, you've had around about, what, 8 pips or so?
Oh dear, 8 pips. Whoa.
Yeah, 8 pips. It's hardly going to break the bank. But again, for this being a successful trade, which it certainly was, it's getting you, I'll get on the money, it's getting you around about just under 14 pips on there, to be fair. Okay,
so risk to reward ratio about 1 to 1.5.
Yeah, but if we look on the market itself, again, we look at the total move, it's went all the way down to here. I mean, not that I would suggest people be greedy, but this is given around about 158 pips on that total move, which is massive, to be fair. Again, it went on a massive downtrend, as we can see, from where it sort of broke the structure. Massive wick spinning top with this candle here. Very indecisive, didn't know what it wanted to do. But yeah, that's the odd NZD.
Now, what we see, guys, is 9 times out of 10, it will go to the take profit too.
Yes, yes.
That's
again,
kind of...
With Paul saying that, with Paul saying the take profit too, let's just zone in on that. Look at this. How many times it's even though the markets are very erratic, how many times does this come back to test, retest, touch? You know what I mean? So we'll always give that respect to those levels. Right, let's have a look at the British pound odd. Let's move this up. Right, so we've got 2 candles to the left, obviously 2 candles.
Now those candles are quite indecisive. Yeah. They're indecision candles, aren't they? That D in particular.
Yeah.
So we can draw it up, but my spider sense would tingle a little bit on that one because there's not a lot going on.
And again, let's just get a hold of this second candle. That's 1, 2, about the halfway point.
Yeah.
Round about there.
So that one hasn't triggered.
It did actually, Paul.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, it did. Yeah, spot on. Yeah, zoom in on that. Yeah, I missed it.
Again, to the pip.
Look at that, guys.
To the pip. This is where this strategy, it's like, wow. You know? So you've
So let's just talk through that one then. So what you would have done, guys, is that big blue candle, the second to the right of the D. That's where you'd have got, that's where, at that point, you could have said, yeah, I'm going to set a buy limit order.
Buy limit, yeah.
Okay.
what's happened is we'll just zoom in again. And then that's the breakout, okay?
So I've got that candle is an hour in time.
Yeah.
The next one to it is an hour in time.
Yeah.
The third one, the next one is an hour in time.
Yeah. And
the one after it is an hour in time.
Yeah. So this is where it's got you in. After the breakout, it took 2 hours after setting that pending order, okay, to sort of activate, to get you in on that trade. From there, again, let's get the measuring tool out.
And look how well it's respected our 0.75 line.
Yeah.
75 pips?
75 pips. Amazing. Amazing. Again, should we go down to the next one?
Yeah, what I was going to say, but just zoom in again on that one. Just zoom in on that structure where it broke structure.
Yep. Let's take a look. There we are.
So guys, what I want you to realize as well, let's suppose I'm at work and I check this in my lunch hour and I see that, you know, bearing in mind that you've got kind of 3 hours there. So let's suppose it's already hit that point and I get to it on the next candle and the next candle had already started to go up. I could still enter. I don't have to just set a pending order and walk away. I still could have got in any time on the next candle. And let's suppose if you draw a line halfway up on that big blue candle, that's it. If you just draw a line on that one, let's suppose I got in there where John's pointer is now. Let's suppose I'm looking, I did this yesterday. I was scanning through and I saw one and I noticed it had already triggered. So what I did is I just got in for mine was a sell, but I could have got in there for a buy. Even if I was like at some point in time on that candle, I still could have got in.
Yeah.
So it gives you a lot of chance to get in on a trade here because that big blue candle there, that's an hour. You know, you might be 5 minutes into that hour candle, 10 minutes into that hour candle, who knows? But you can still get in. And what I will encourage you to do is just draw as many of these as you can, and you'll see for yourself.
So again, that there, it just shows you.
0 drawdown, 75 pip to our take profit. And I mean, if you carried on up, where could you have gone with exit manager on or, you know, something like that? I mean, scary.
Just get rid of that, so just doesn't confuse anyone. Again, I mean, we've had the gap of the open of the markets.
So to be fair, guys, you wouldn't have got, you shouldn't really leave a trade run in over the weekend.
There's 336 pips on there.
And what about to take profit too, John? Because like we say, most of these do seem to go to take profit
you would have getting around 284 pips.
There you go.
And again, if we put that line on there, just to highlight it a bit more, look at how many times it's touched, respect and come back. Again, this is where, with regards to your take profit area, certainly lock in certain profits on the 0. Or the minus the 0.75 area, and then use that exit manager to its full potential, to be fair.
Brilliant. So yeah, I mean, guys, hopefully you've kind of got it now. We keep doing these on the live sessions as well. So you've got the checklist and you're seeing John, he's changed the settings in front of your eyes. Just keep going down, John, and let's just see.
The GBP.
We'll do another 5-10 minutes, guys.
Right, let's have a look. So again, looking to the left, looking to the right. Obviously to the left is where we need to be. We're going from that D to around about the halfway.
Not triggered.
It's not triggered, no.
So what have we lost?
Nothing.
Brilliant.
Nothing at all.
We haven't gained, but we haven't lost.
Right. This one here, I do believe we were doing this on some sessions the other day. And if I draw this up, I do believe these two candles here should have been the entry point, looking at it, to be fair. So we've got 1, 2, so to the left. And again, let's get rid of that. Let's get this incorrect. Halfway point. There we are, guys. As I said, that area there is where you would have gotten in, because we had the breakout. And again, this just shows you how powerful this is. Remember, this is on 1 hour time frame. The amount of time that's surpassed over there, it's come back and it's still tested that area. I mean, this is just, it's sort of, you should have the confidence in knowing that these Fibonacci levels, they will always give back to where they're drawn to. From there, you would have had, around about 10, 11 pips drawdown. But again, I'm just going to sort of get myself into the nuts and bolts of it. From there, you would have had around about 27 pips, 27, 28 pips to that area there. Again, we mentioned TP level 2. It's tested and respected that. To the TP2, you're looking around about just under 50 pips, 47 pips. And then again, if you wanted to go that extra bit further, TP3, look at how many hour candles have hit that and respected that. That's giving you around about 89 pips.
Now, we were originally just going to say, guys, go to take profit 2 on the scanner. But sometimes if it's a big move, it doesn't always do it. But the vast majority still do. So we're trying to, what we're trying to do is, I don't want to say dumb it down, but we're trying to make it like, give you the best chance of winning and making a profit. As you get more advanced, you might well just go to take profit 2 all the time. But we're going to suggest lock in profit at the 25 pips, okay? And it should go to the green line, and it did, and you'd be happy with that profit. But as you get more advanced, Exit Manager will get you more. You might decide just to go to take profit 2 all the time, knowing that they don't all quite do it, but the vast majority do, and you'll still make like a bandit. This is a very good strategy.
Yeah, it's amazing. And again, I mean, looking at this, just while we're off the cuff, Paul, the ear point on here is actually lower than the TP3. So maybe something that might be something. I don't want to see something now on the live just to confuse things. There's something I'm going to back to looking at this. In my experience, I'm going to be looking at something after this.
I get where you're going. Yeah, you know. But again, you see, guys, we're not. You know, we're not saying this is the final version. If we can make it better, we'll make it better, and you'll know.
I mean, that there's jumped a mile out of me straight away as soon as I've seen that, to be fair. But again, that's for something else.
Well, I mean, if you go from the entry right to the bottom of that, I mean, that's just scary, isn't it? How many pips you could have got out of that?
What, to the
right down to the swing low there.
Let's have a look.
From the entry down to the bottom.
From the entry, sorry.
Right, you know.
Right. From the entry, right down to here. 237.
And then go down to that big one at the right.
Yeah, let's do this for a.
You wouldn't stay in this, guys, right? But just to show you.
This is just showing you what could have happened. Yeah. Oh. Around about 471 pips.
Scary.
Yeah, it is. But again, this is where we had the close of the markets, I think.
You wouldn't,
reopening. So, but again, 471 pips there. It's but we couldn't have predicted this.
No. And like take profit 2.
I don't think anybody could, to be honest. So USD, Swiss franc. Let's have a look. So we've got 1, 2 candles. 1, 2. So we're going to the left. Right on there. And again, we need to get right in on this. So what we've got, I'm just going to get my little arrow on. So we've got here, and I hear it when it does it. It always does this.
I know. It's
not to worry. Not to worry. So what we've got, this is your D point.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. From there, we are waiting for the breakout of the 0 level, the black line. We've got that here.
There is.
Come back in. We've got the retest here. So you would be in on that trade. And then it's
drawdown.
Yeah, the drawdown. Let's take
again for new people. That would be a buy limit order, and your entry is that 0.25 line there, that orange line.
You've had around about 7 pips drawdown.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've getting around about 11 pips
to be safe. But did it do 25?
Let's have a look. It's most certainly done 25 and then some.
And did it go to take profit 2? Yeah.
Yeah, let's have a look. And even surpassing take profit 3.
But again, it's taking a long time. Like each one of those candles is 1 hour of time, so it is taking a while.
We'll measure this up. So you've got from around about there. TP1 is around about 42 pips. TP2 is around about 77 pips. TP3, and look at that, guys, how many times it's tested in respect of that. 129 pips. But again, the total move on that, take a look at there. you're looking at 212 pips. There we have it. There we are. So anything else we need to add to this, Paul, or?
I just look at a couple of 15-minute ones and then we'll call it a day.
Yeah,
just the 1 hour ones, guys, as you've seen, you don't need many trades. I know a lot of people come in and they're like, well, I've done one trade, what do I do now?
Right.
You know, you can do, you know, one trade and get 40, 50, 60 pips, you know, potentially 100 pips or more. You know, you don't need that many of these a week to do well.
So this is the one that we're actively watching as well at the moment, but we'll not go too much into why. So we've got the D point there, and you've got 2 candles to the right, 2 candles to the left. We've got a hell of a indecisive candle there, to be honest. Right, let's have a look. From there, right onto there. Again, it's hard to call this one, to be fair, Paul, simply because you got.
Well, those candles are not really candles, are they? They're
not. It's you've had a breakout as such because it's jumped from there to there. I mean, this has gone back in technically. It has technically gone back into the zone. Yeah.
Technically, yes, but how do you feel about it as a trade?
When in doubt, just get out. Didn't bother with it, to be honest.
When in doubt, kick it out.
Yeah, exactly. Not enough meat on the bones in my experience on that one. So, yeah, so that's the GBP, Japanese yen. Let's have a look at another one. So we've got the euro odd on the 15-minute. Again, D point. 2 candles to the left on this instance. Let's have a look. Yeah, 2 candles to the left, most certainly. Around about halfway point. And again, guys, what you've got, this is another trade you could have gotten in on, simply because you've got the breakout here, okay, and then the retest, more or less down to the pip, maybe 1 or 2 pips drawdown. No need to draw that one out for the drawdown and pips, to be fair.
Now then, how many pips up has it gone already on that one?
Yeah, let's have a look. So from there, where it's currently at, where it's currently at.
No, it went up to.
It's gone up to around about on there 45 pips.
Now, and can you see, guys, that is take profit 2. Now, this is why this is hard for us to kind of give these rules.
Yeah.
It usually goes to take profit 2. Now, we've got that green line there, and we're saying that is a one-to-one risk to reward, and it's great, and it will usually go to that. But I would have been happy getting out at take profit 2, wouldn't you, John?
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly, I would do as well.
And you can see it's almost again to the pit look. You know, that red candle with the wick up. Yeah. That is almost. I mean, that's like
touched. Yeah, that is to the pip. To be fair.
You know, so we've got an entry that's more or less to the pit. We've got an exit that's more or less to the pit.
Yeah.
If you're hanging on for take profit, you know, for that green line that we've got, and the problem is because the ratios vary, and if you get like news or something that makes the candles whip a little bit like we have with euro.
For the sake of an extra 6 pips, which is what that is to there,
I'd close it, guys.
I would have just closed it out, to be fair. Yeah.
Now that's hard to put as a rule.
Yeah.
And this will probably fly past. You know, it's probably going to do it now. Look. It will probably fly. But if you get greedy, that's where you're going to lose with Forex.
Yeah, that's where a lot of the mindset comes into play with this, and you've got to learn to do that. One thing I would also sort of put towards when sort of trading, when you start having any amount of success within what we do within the team, okay, because I've had this from some new members and things like that's getting back to me with stuff. As soon as you've locked in your daily profit, go to demo. Yeah. Practice. I can't say that enough. The more the practice, the better you get.
Yeah.
If you need to feed that itch that you've got to get into more trades, lock in your profit, get your target, go to demo. That is the best advice you'll ever get from anybody that's within this group, to be fair.
The amount of times I've made money in the morning and given it back in the afternoon.
We've all done it, Paul. We've all done it, to be fair. And again, it's just a matter of the demos there. You could go on to learning another sort of sort of strategy, because we do have one or two within the team. You could sort of learn something on demo once you've locked in the profit on the one that you're having success with, you know. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, guys, you can stop your screen share, John, because I think we're done. Now, listen, we're going to teach this and, well, not teach it, we're going to trade it. You know, we're going to be trading this on the live sessions. I know Les is on at 7 p.m. UK time. He's using this strategy now exclusively. He's not doing BYOB. So we have two main team strategies, the Be Your Own Bank, BYOB, and that's great, but you kind of have to be there to get in the trade unless you trade the higher time frames with that, which you can do. And every Monday morning, 8 a.m. UK time, David Kahn does longer. He calls it bounce the bank, because we used to have another strategy. It's practically the same. So he's got to mash the two together, but it's basically BYOB on the higher time frame. That we've got that. Then the rest of us, we kind of do BYOB, but we tend to look at it more of a, you know, let's get in, get our 10 pips, get out, and get our 3%, and that we're winning over 90% on that. But not everybody can trade that way. If you're at work, if you're busy, whatever. This strategy, guys. I mean, John, you work.
Yeah, I work a full-time job. I mean, my sort of where I'm at right now with trading, I could quite easily and quite happily trade full-time if I wanted to, but I like my job. It's practically on my doorstep. I enjoy doing what I do. So from that aspect, I just continue with what I do generally. And I just like to give back into the team for the 2 to 3 years that I've been involved with the Ninja Group. I'm finding it more rewarding being able to give back to the team from what I've learned than actually catching the pips and being more profitable. I'm just happy that I can give back what I've learned over the years. So again, that's my personal choice. So there we go.
Well, to kind of wrap this up, guys, the reason for that is, right, there is no competition in our group. Yeah. When you join other biz ops, if John makes a sale, I could have made that sale. Do you know what I mean? So we're kind of, I don't want to give John all my secrets, and I don't really want to share everything with him, because I'm training my competition, if you like. And I've done that in business ops where it was $1,000 commission sale and it was great, but I was sharing what I was doing and people were doing it. And then lo and behold, I'm seeing people that I know have brought from somebody else. Okay. The thing with this is there is zero competition. There's no selling, there's no recruiting, but we could all take exactly the same trades. And because it's a $6.6 trillion a day market, we're not going to, you know, as far as I know, John isn't trading with a multi-million-dollar account. I mean, he might be, but I doubt it. I don't know anybody who is, you know, put it that way. And even then, it takes $10 million US to move one pip on most currency pairs. So there's no competition here. And I can tell you guys, I've been in the same position. I could now just happily trade on my own, 9 till 10, Billy no mates, nobody to talk to, do a trade, be done in an hour, set one of these 25 to life trades up, be done in an hour, half an hour even sometimes, you know, just get it done. Then what do I do with the rest of my day? And I tell you what, guys, it is so much nicer when you're helping people, isn't it, John? And you've put stuff back and you got all happy people messaging you, making money. Yeah. And we might as well. So, anything you want to add?
Other than obviously don't overtrade, don't over leverage. As soon as you get those take profits locked in, switch yourself to a demo. It'd be the best thing you do. And then you can just practice as much as you want.
And practice this, guys. Wax on, wax off like Karate Kid, yeah? I'm getting old. I don't know if young folk know that reference anymore, but wax on, wax off, practice. And we will see you on the live sessions.
Yeah.